Hi, welcome to houseimprovements.com. I'm Shannon, and today I want to show you how I would build a gate for a fence. We've already built the fence you can see here behind me, and you can check that video out here on our YouTube channel. As far as the gate goes, I've already prefabbed the main framework of the gate just to speed up a little bit of time. So you can see I've constructed it out of 2x4 framing. So I built my outside framework, and I used construction adhesive and screws to hold it together. I then put in an angled cross brace, which will help support this far end from sagging. The right hand end, as you're looking at it, will be the end that's hinged, and it's going to go right over in this opening right here. So this will be where the gate will be, and it'll swing out like that. So the reason for this cross brace piece here is to prevent over time the gate from wanting to sag, since it's supported well on that side with hinges to the post, but not as well on this side. So that will just give it some extra support. And again, that is screwed in, and I used construction adhesive as well. So I did that last night just so it had time to dry and secure up. When you're building the frame, just measure simply corner to corner diagonally. Once you have the same measurement both ways, you know you've got it sitting there square. So okay, so what I'm going to do is lay it down here on the ground to work on it. I'm going to use these fence pickets just as a guide, and you'll see what that's all about once I get moving here. So I've moved my framework right up against those pieces that I'm going to use as a guide. I've got my pickets cut right here, ready to go, and I've already figured out my layout for the pickets so that I don't have any problems in the end. So in my case, I'm going to be able to start with using these pieces here as a guide for the height of the pickets off the rail, off the frame. So I'm just putting it flush at this end, and in my case I'm just leaving it back here about 1/8 of an inch from the frame. Yours might be different just depending on how you've laid yours out. And just like in the fence video, if you watched, I'm just going to use this cordless brad nailer just to tack the pickets in place to start with. Okay, so that's one. Now, just like before, I'm going to use a spacer of 3/4 of an inch, which is just a scrap piece of the pickets, and that'll be my spacer. So I just, again, get this flush, bring it over tight against those spacers, and I'll just work my way across the gate just like that. Okay, so I've just tacked all my pickets on with the brad nailer. The reason for that is it's easy to pull them off if something doesn't work out quite right, and it's quick to get them tacked in place. Now I can go back and screw them into place now that I'm happy with where they are. And I just made up a simple jig so that I can mark them all out the same. The jig just sits nicely on the top of the picket, and then I've got marks on these ledgers that just indicate where the screws should be. It just keeps my screws all lined up fairly consistent, just so that it'll look better. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark these all out, and then pop 2 screws in each one, and then we'll move on. Okay, so we've got all the screws in. So I just used regular deck screws because we're using spruce lumber here. I pre-painted it all once just before I assemble it. Then there's no bare wood anywhere on it that's going to rot out prematurely. So like I said, it's all spruce lumber, so we're able to use normal deck screws. I put 2 in each picket at each end, and then I also did a strip down that cross brace just to, again, give it a little more strength for not sagging. So now my hinges, what I'm going to do, I just obviously bought a package with hinges and latch and everything in it. So I'm I'm just going to get the right screws all out here. And I want to line the hinges up with the top and bottom framework that's in behind there. That way, if your screws are a little bit longer, it'll also go into that framework and be a little stronger. These ones are about 1 inch long, so they would project through the picket if we just screwed it into the picket, and then they'd be pokey on the backside. So I'm just lining up my hinge where I want it to be. Right about there, and you'll have to determine that just by your spacing of your gate and everything. Something I didn't mention was the framework for the gate. I cut it about 3/4 of an inch narrower than the opening. That way you have room to work, just in case your posts aren't plumb, and a little bit of clearance when it's opening and closing. Okay, so I'm just getting that hinge straight. I actually should have a little bigger driver bit, but see if I can make this one work. Okay, this hole here is really close to the edge of the picket, so I think I'm just going to leave that one out for now. If I need it, I'll pre-drill that hole and try to get one in there without it splitting. Okay. Okay, I've got those in place. Now I'm just going to take it over to the opening and get it mounted on the fence. Okay, so off camera, I just had the camera guy give me a hand. Basically what you want to do is, once you've got your pickets on the gate, is take the gate to the opening, use some blocks or shims or whatever you need. As you can see, I did on the bottom. Get your gate sitting the way you're happy with it in the opening, and then at that point you'll be able to mount the hinges. So I'm at that point now. Okay, so I've got that. I just put 2 screws in. I'm going to pull the blocks out, so I just want to see how the gate hangs. Sometimes, in this case, we only got 1 post here beside the house, so it's not, it's acting on its own to support this gate. So what may happen when we take that out is the gate may, with the weight of it, want to move over just a little bit. So I just want to check that before I get it screwed into place. Actually, it didn't seem to move at all, so I think we're going to be all right. Just going to check the operation. Something to watch, we've got sidewalks here that are a little uneven, so I've cut the gate a little extra high, just so that it'll clear any snow or debris that might get in the way here, or if the sidewalk moves and heaves at all. So seems to operate quite fine. Our gap stayed pretty good there. So I'm just going to put the rest of these screws in. Okay, so we got those in there. Like I said, the gate's working pretty good. Now I've got a latch to put on it that'll keep it closed. So the way this latch works, and I'm sure just about everybody's seen these before, is this part here will be mounted on the fence, and this rod part will be on the gate, so that when the gate closes, this rod goes inside of this catch and it can't open again until you lift that lever. So we just need to determine where exactly we're going to put that. And again, it's nice to try to mount these in an area that you've got some extra wood in behind, some thickness, so you can use some longer screws if you need to. Because it never fails, these tend to get a little bit wore over time and need to be tightened up. So I'm going to line up the rod here. I'm pretty happy right there with it. I'm just going to mark my position there, and I'm going to mount it. Try to work to the side so you can see. So just get it up there, have a look. It looks like it's level. Throw both screws in. And for the latch, looks like we're missing one screw for that. For the latch, it's just as easy as lining it up until that strikes it and holds it in the right spot, and then we'll mount it onto the fence. Just eyeball it up so it looks straight. Okay, so we have that working fine. It latches the gate and holds the gate closed. If you had a exceptionally tall fence, this isn't accessible possibly by reaching over, where in this case it will be, but if it wasn't, they put a small hole in the top here of this closing mechanism, so you can run a string, and even sometimes, it isn't in this package, but even sometimes they include a string that you can run up, drill a hole through a picket or whatever, with a hoop on the other end, so you can reach from the inside to operate the latch as well. So I don't think there's anything else I can show you there. The important thing is just getting your framework to be secure. There are kits out there, metal bracket kits you can buy. You basically build the frame the same, but there is reinforcing brackets that would fit in here in different places if you maybe have a gate that's sagging right now and that's all it needs just to secure it up a little better. So, or you can put it on your new existing one too. So I hope this was helpful for you. If you're planning on this type of project, at least you kind of are pointed in the right direction at this point. One thing just to remember is I like to pre-paint everything so that you don't have that bare wood on bare wood anywhere that the pickets cross the framework. It's just a spot for the rot to start right away. So that's good. So I hope you can make your gate look just as good or better than this one. And if there's any other projects that maybe you need a bit of a hand with, check out all our other videos here on our YouTube channel, or you can go to our website at house-improvements.com, and from there you can find some articles. You can also find our forum there, which lots of people are tuning in there and getting some helpful advice, and lots of people are even posting up their pictures of projects they've finished up through the help of us and others on the forum. So thanks for watching.